Okay, so we are starting early today on our daily dial. We are calling people that came uh, in the middle of the night. And so it's first thing in the morning. So we're getting started early today. We are going to call these potential sellers and see if we can put a deal together. We got this one from Facebook marketing that we have been doing. So I'm going to give them a call. But as always, I'm going to look up the potential range of the price that we can potentially purchase for. So let's see here. I'm going to Zillow, and I'm going to go to Privy to go ahead and see what the potential is. So going to Privy now, and the confidence here that I think is we have a 5-star confidence. In the range is between 352,000 to 413. So that's like a $60,000 difference. Very nice looking house. So I'm trying to figure out who this potential seller might be. He submitted a name of Falafel, and I also go to confirm that. So I'm going to batch leads to see who that is. And I don't see that name on the ownership full name here on batch leads. So I don't know what that name is. The last name also doesn't match. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of discovery there. If I go to Zillow here, shows that they bought it recently in 2020, almost exactly 2 years ago. So how come they bought it and then they're selling it now? They bought it at 236. So 236, wow. And the range was 352 to 413. So they've gained a ton of equity. Okay, so that's the preliminary work that I have to go through with everybody just to see who they are and everything, and make sure that we have an idea. We know who we're talking to the best of our ability. So now I'm going to go and make the call. So as always, I will first go ahead and send them a text. So we have an automated system on follow-up system, and they've communicated through there. So I'm going to send a text there, and I'm going to say, I am going to be calling you from my personal number. And I'm going to go over here. And I'm going to send them another text from my personal number. Hi, this is Ben. And now I'm going to call. Come on, puppy. Okay.
Please leave your name, number, and time you called, and we'll be glad to get back to you. Thank you, and God bless.
Hey, Albert. This is Ben. Just returning your call. You reached out to us via Facebook. If you can, give me a call back. If not, I'll try you back later on today. See if I can get you. Okay. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye now. So that was not a connect, but so we go now to CRM here and make our notes. Attempted call, sent text, left voicemail. We'll try later. Okay, and so from here, I will also record the accurate address, which is this. Copy and paste, because they submit addresses that are not complete. So I want to have, that happens a lot on Facebook. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to come back over to the CRM and assign a follow-up sequence. So right now it is sitting on a sequence that is called it's a new lead, and it's untouched. Then we have another sequence called responded and needs attention. That means I haven't touched it. And then we have another sequence after that. It's called attempted contact. And that's where I'm going to put this one in. So that way the system knows, or the CRM knows, that I attempted to call. And there was no response. After that, we have a 2 to 10 day nurture. Then after that, we have 6 to 12 months nurture. Then we have a contacted and follow up, etc. So maybe they were busy or whatnot. Then we have an appointment set. I spoke to them and I set up an appointment. And then we have a negotiating sequence. And we have all these different sequences just to make sure that nobody is falling through the cracks. So we're going to do that. And we're going to go on to the next one over here. What time is it? Okay. So we are going to go into now the sequence that is 2 to 10 days. I'm going to see if I can get a hold of some people here. We haven't been able to get a hold of these. These are very hard people to get a hold of for some reason. So let's see. This one, I sent a contract, Tiffany, but she has not replied, has not signed the contract. So what's going on here? So I'm going to go and see what kind of interactions we've had. So I go Okay, so there's been some text messages here. Oh, so she replied and she said, if we could do 4:45 for the contract instead of 4:30. And when did she say that? Okay. Okay, let me call her right now. I didn't get an alert that she had. But she had replied, I need to work with my system. It's a work in progress all the time. So I'm gonna go here. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe let's not do that. Let's go to back to our CRM. I'm going to switch her from here. And it's in a 2 to 10 day nurture. So I'm going to put her on negotiating. And then that's the sequences, negotiating. Then from there, I'm going to reply to her and say, good morning, Tiffany. I will resend you the contract for 4:45. Okay, so now I have to go and redo the contract. 4:45. That's a extra 15,000. She's probably thinking she. Oh, and she just replied. Thank you. Give me about 30 minutes. Give me a few minutes. Okay, I'm gonna go redo that contract and then we'll pick up the calls again in a little while. So let's go get a contract. Okay, so that took me a little while to go ahead and write down or change the contract, change the price on there that she wanted. So went ahead and did that, called her, went over the contract, some questions that she had, etc., and we're good to go. Basically, what I told her, I said, hey, look, we have a holiday coming up on Monday, and I'd like to get started now because next week is a short week anyway. So let's get it done today. And she said, okay, let me go ahead and do that, blah, blah, blah. She called a couple of times, asked a couple of questions, and now she is under contract. Under contract. So this is when the fun begins. So again, hopefully this helps you. If you have questions about that specifically or something you didn't understand, go ahead and post them below. I also went and did a little bit of a 15-minute workout. I do about 4 of those a day. So I don't take like an hour to go. Sometimes I do to go work out, but most of the time, I don't have that much time. I come back and, I feel like I haven't done anything. So what I do is I just do short workouts. That's better for the heart anyway, because it mimics uh, hit training. So it's hit training for your heart. And so, yep. Anyway, that's a different subject. But if you have any questions about the contracts and anything else, um, post them below. If you want me to explain something further, go ahead and post that below as well. The idea here is for you to get a little bit of a glimpse as to how a day should be organized and how follow-ups should be done. And with the result to get you your first deal. So so that's how we got this. I'm sending about, let's say, 2 to 3 contracts a day, and that's pretty much what I'm doing. We come back to the seller as well, and we negotiate better terms all the time. So a contract is just the signal to go to start working the deal. That is the biggest thing that I came to understand when I was learning myself, that just because you sign a contract doesn't mean that that's going to be the ultimate agreement when you go to closing. Okay, so a contract is always renegotiable. If you understand that, then you can be a little bit more lenient at the beginning when you submit these contracts. And so that's what I do. Kind of just talk to them. I'm straight going for creative finance contracts. If I see a terms deal, I'm going to, let me rephrase that again. So I'm straight going toward creative contracts. So a terms deal. If in that process I see a cash deal, 60 cents on the dollar or less, typically average 50 cents on the dollar or less, then I will go ahead and pivot from there. So you can always pivot from creative to wholesale. And because we want the majority of our deals to be creative financing, it's better for the seller and it's better for us because we can help a lot more people. If we only focus on doing only wholesaling, then we have to burn through a lot more leads, and we're not able to help everybody that actually needs our help, that we could help. If we say, hey, well, we can't sell this house at 90 cents on the dollar because the mortgage would force the seller to come out of pocket to close on it. A, that's not good for the seller. B, it's not good for you because it's 90 cents on the dollar. So you can't wholesale that. So what can you do? Most people just move on and go to the next deal. Why do that? When it's still you're getting a discount, etc., where you are getting a discounted deal, but then you don't do it because it's 90 cents on the dollar. So what we can do is buy it on terms or on payments. I don't mention terms to the sellers. I just say, hey, could I buy this on payments? And if that's the case, then we move forward and we keep doing that from there. With that being said, let's go ahead and move to the next. Sorry, that was my kids. Anyway, so yeah, we can do move on to the next thing and the next call here. So as always, I take the address and then I'm going to go ahead and put it on my MLS access I keep saying privy. Privy is what I'm using to do that. So this property, it shows that it doesn't give me a range, but it tells me that it might be worth around 478. So now I'm gonna go to Zillow and see what Zillow says, because again, that's what the seller will look at. The seller will rely on Zillow. Oh, and the estimate on Zillow is not available. So, okay. So the seller doesn't really have access to that, but they may have access to, or they do have access to realtor.com. And they may go by that figure on there. So let's check this out and see what we get here. Okay, so it says here, I did not know that Open Door gives estimates on realtor.com. So it says 363, so it's already good. So hopefully they're in the below 350 range here. Okay, so let's read the notes now. So this seller on Silverwood, they repairs needed, no needed repairs. Overall condition of the property is vacant, no updates. Not like I called this one. No, I haven't called them. No updates needed on the property, and no repairs are needed. It's in good condition. 5 beds and 2 baths. How soon do they want to sell? 14 to 30 days. Why do they want to sell? He doesn't live there and it's vacant. He wants to get rid of the property. Oh man. When somebody says they want to get rid of the property, that's, I hardly ever hear that. And when I do, so it's a good thing. No price in mind. The minimum asking price. Best day to call when the offer is ready. The seller mentioned anything on the call that I should know. Prospect mentioned that when we give him a call back, we should have an offer already. Okay. So let me just paste here the realtor.com estimate, just so I can have it on my CRM. So if they don't pick up or whatever, I can always come back and pick up where I left off. Okay, so let me give them a call now. I'm going to send, again, here's my routine. I will send a text saying I'm about to call you, that type of stuff. Here we go. About to call you. I just sent that. There's my phone. Okay. If you do the same thing that I'm doing and just make this a daily routine, you will get deals. I mean, we are getting deals every single day. And like I said, daily I'm sending contracts. Like that's what I really am overwhelmed by, is how many contracts I have to send every single day. It's a lot. It's a lot of them. And I would estimate, if you're sending 10 contracts out of 10, like consistently, you will close 2 to 3 out of 10. Let's just say you close 3, because that's really, really the minimum, I think. You're going to wholesale out of the 3, you wholesale 1, and the other 2 you can wholesale, right, to a creative investor, and then you keep one. So it really is. It's fantastic what you can do with real estate. Let's see, it's not loading for me. Okay, I'm just gonna have to give them ring. There's 530 plus 5757. Okay, so let's try to call him. 530. Where is that? Look at that real quick.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 530701.
Okay, so they didn't pick up, and I am just going to do a follow-up later. So now I go to my trusty CRM, and I will say send text. Tried calling. No, send text. No answer. Called. No answer. There we go. We'll try later. And again, I will put these in my automated campaigns. So I will go ahead and make sure that I personally called him. It looks like it might be a good deal. So I want to call him the next business day. So that, and it's a holiday, but I don't care to call on a holiday because he will probably be home. So I want to call people during the weekends and after 4 p.m. Every day, and just basically when it's not business hours. So outside of business hours, you're gonna get a lot of people answering. So it's a lot of work. I mean, real estate is not easy. It's not a get rich quick gig. If you think that's what it is, man, it's really hard. It's really hard to do real estate because you basically work all the time, and yeah, you get rewarded nice and everything, but to buy these deals and stuff, you just have to be available when they're available, and they're typically available outside of business hours. So that's what makes it like feel like you don't have a life. But then you can't do the fun stuff like going out and all that type of stuff during business hours because people will call you also. So you're just basically working all the time. So not that you can't do this part-time, but just understand that if you like have a job or something, you have a 9 to 5, you're going to get the bulk of your work done outside of business hours. So it's great if you have a job because you could do it, get off work and, get to work on your, part-time real estate business. So just realize that that's when we have to work the most, the hardest. And you can even take the calls while you're at work or whatever if you're able to do that. So yeah, before you get your first deal, you will have to put in a lot of work, a lot of hours, and just sort of know what you're doing. And that's why I'm doing this, so to help you get your first deal. Okay. So let's see. So I scheduled this. I put it on my CRM. I scheduled a follow-up. So now the system is just going to let me know that I have to call this person. the next business day, which is, it's not business, it's going to be holiday, but so I understand what I'm doing. Okay, so got that. Let's try the next, and that's all it is. You do one, you analyze it, you make notes to yourself, go on to the next, and then on to the next. Okay, so this one here, we do the same thing, start the process again, take the address, let's see what the situation is, what the potential good outcome we may have. So I will take the address and then let me go check out Privy. You can also paste it on a prop stream and get sort of a okay estimate. I like Privy because again, gives us access to the MLS, and we are able to get closer to what this property might be worth in today's market. We don't want it, the last 6 months or whatever. We want to know in today's market what this might be worth. Also, we have good data here. So our range is from 430K to 525K. So that's almost like $100,000 difference. I mean, $100,000 difference. So we're going to take that. We're going to put it on our CRM so that we can have an idea every time. And now we're going to post this to, we're going to check out Zillow. So I'm trying to figure out the ARV, the ARV when I'm doing this. So, and just quickly, I need to have an idea what the ARV might be before going into a call. So I'm going to bring this, I'm going to go take this to Zillow. And Zillow says 454. That's not all I'm looking at when I go to Zillow. So let me go over that real quick. So on Zillow, you want to have an idea about a few different things, and they're all lumped together on Zillow, okay? So we want to know that it's off market. That's great. This property is off market. Number two, we want to know the Zestimate, which that speaks towards the ARV, okay? And that for this property is 454, and the MLS estimate, the range is from 430 to 525K. So Zillow is within the bottom portion of it, which is great because we know we could potentially go into the 500s depending on the rehab or whatever to get our ARV, which is great. That's great. Then we want to know the rent estimate because we could sell it to a flipper, but we could also sell it to a landlord, or we could keep it and see how much we could generate in cash flow. This channel is all about finding cash flowing real estate. We don't focus on wholesaling because the cash flow that comes from wholesaling is from having a large real estate operation. We have a large real estate operation. The cash flow from that comes from the business itself, okay? Because you're not keeping a lot of the properties. You keep some, okay? Hopefully you keep some, but let's say you do 10 to 20 deals a month. Well, the cash flow is being generated by the transactions, by the closings. Very different cash flow. That's the business, is the transactional business. You don't keep hardly any of the properties, if any at all. But because it is a business, I don't want to say, well, you can't generate cash flow. No, you can. You can build a big business, a big operation, but your cash flow is going to come easier if the cash flow comes from the real estate itself, not from the business itself, which in this case might be the wholesaling business. Okay, so it's a huge difference. So we will talk about operations, and setting up systems and everything else that allow us to generate cash flow from the business and generate cash flow from the real estate. So we have two sets of cash flows coming in. Okay, so in this case, the easiest cash flow to get to is going to be from the real estate itself. Okay, so in this case, if I look at the rent estimate, it tells me it's $2,300, and the estimated mortgage payment here, the refi payment is $2,600 a month. So even if we are paying what the estimated monthly payment is $2,608, and the rent estimate is $2,300 a month, we're going to have a negative cash flow. So off the bat, this deal is telling me three things. It's overpriced by these estimates, but we have to verify all of this. So I have to talk to the seller, and the seller will let me know, hey, I think you can rent it for $3,000 because I currently have it rented for $3,000 in my last, but this deal I think is vacant. So we'll go through that in a second. But you get the gist. We want to cash flow it more than our monthly payment. So we want to get the rent to be higher than our monthly payment, right? So that's why I have to look at those three things. If you're purely doing wholesaling, if you're purely selling these deals to flippers, they never look at the cash flow because it's irrelevant, right? Because they're going to flip it and they're just speculating on the market, right? So their money comes from the price, the sales price every time. We don't do that. We want to generate cash flow. We want to retain these properties, or we want to sell them to somebody who wants to cash flow the property, or we want to JV with somebody that has the money. We have the deal and we keep the cash flow, and they might pay us in the equity. They might allow us to keep equity. We can share the equity. So there's more tools in our tool belt than just doing a straight wholesale deal that we just get an assignment fee. Now, if we sell to a landlord that is going to cash flow it, we can get an assignment fee from that as well. So it's easier to have these tools in your tool belt to get closer to your first deal. Okay. So now let's go through the notes here. And on the notes, it says here, husband and wife. I think I have husband and wife. Okay. Looks similar to another property that I called on. Overall condition, good. How soon do they want to sell? To be discussed. Okay. Minimum will not sell for less than 600,000. We got our estimates here. Now I went through all the numbers already, and that just doesn't make any sense at all. The only way that we can do this deal is if they give us a long-term payments on this. So spoke to Melanie. Well, it says call before Friday. Spoke to Melanie, and she said that if the offer is not less than 600,000, they will sell the house. They installed. She is misspelling this. They installed a new heating system. The floors are new, and the one on Zillow is no longer updated. The picture, I assume, the wife's number is this, wants to be taken off and just put on the husband's. This is the same as another lead. So I'm not going to call this one. I think I'm going to make the notes. This sounds exactly like another lead we got. I will do some investigating. Search by phone on CRM or address. Okay, so we're not going to make this call now because it's I know I've read this, and these are two different team members, and it sounds like they called the same person and they talked to the same person. The owner, the wife, told them the same thing. So we are going to do that research later, and then here I'm going to add it to the block that says needs reskip tracing because I will read the notes and see that I just need to investigate. Okay. Yeah, I don't see it here at first glance. It might be on my warm leads instead. I don't see it there. Okay, so that's basically an overview of how I'm working these deals. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to send contracts. So I just do that. I just go calls, contracts, calls, workout, more calls, contracts, workout, eat something, calls, come back. So that's how things work, and I hope you liked this video. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Give us a follow. We're going to do this for every day. I'm going to try to do this every day for you guys so you can get to your first deal. Post all of your questions below, and I will answer them on a video. So make sure you tune in and watch the videos. Talk to you later. Thanks.